And now, a word from
Infirmary Media.
Hey dudes and dudettes, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Be Kind and Rewind podcast, a podcast chock full of everything nostalgic about the 80s, 90s, and more, with celebrity interviews and fact-filled movie commentaries. I'm your host, Carlos, and this episode, we're on the hunt for the Red Ryder BB Gun as we finish off our Christmas Movie Commentary Extravaganza with our movie commentary for the 80s classic you can't miss during the holiday season, A Christmas Story. I'm flying solo tonight. Dylan was gonna make it, but last minute he couldn't, so you're gonna have to bear with my voice for the next 90 minutes. So if you're tuning out, I understand, but if you're staying in there, if you're gonna stick with us, I appreciate it. But you know, we're releasing the video, the podcast on Thursday here, and Christmas is just around the corner. You know, ready to celebrate. I'm going to be celebrating in the mountains, so I'm excited to do that out here in the Colorado mountains. I hope everyone else is enjoying spending the holidays with maybe some friends or family. Probably going through your old, your old stuff in your parents' basement or your old room. A little treasure trove of nostalgia. Don't be afraid to take it home. Don't be afraid to throw it on the shelf back home. Put it on the office desk, maybe even share it with one of your kids. Don't be afraid to bring that old toy back home. But like I said, we're here to talk about A Christmas Story. Doing the commentary, it's one of those that it's on every year, just like all the other movies we have done previously. So we're wrapping up, like I said, for the Christmas extravaganza, but this one that's it's kind of special because even though you do see it 24/7 at one point, it still has that nostalgic feeling of like it kind of like when you hear the Mariah Carey song, you're like, this is Christmas time. This because it's the only time you hear any other time or see it any other time of the year. It's a little odd, but you still enjoy it. But when it's this right time of year, Christmas, you're like, all right, I'm in. So we're doing the commentary tonight. I'm at the MGM studios, or MGM, with the real lion, the old school real lion logo here. So for those of you who are tuning in, who are gonna follow along, we're right there. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. And like I said, flying solo tonight, so bear with me. I'm gonna get as much info. Got a lot of facts, a lot of info we looked up. That we'll be talking about throughout the movie. So, without further ado, let's get this going in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, like I said, the old school MGM logo. They used a real lion with a man holding a leash like 3 feet away with the cameraman just in front of it. So, they try to make it look like it was set in the 1940s. Of course, it was filmed in 1983. And it was directed by Bob Clark. He did a few movies, Black Christmas and Porky's, which I believe Bill Murray was in that. So I think that was one he was in. And it was also this movie was based on Gene Shepard's semi-fictional anecdotes from the 1966 book In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash, and with some elements from his 1971 book Wanna Hickey's Night of Golden Memories. So just kind of a hodgepodge of stories, but as you see, you're going to hear his voice throughout this entire movie. He'll be narrating as the older Ralphie, and if it seems like a kind of a similar concept, it's because this inspired the Wonder Years a few years later, about 5 years later when it came out. They had Daniel Stern doing the older narration of Kevin Arnold. So just kind of, like I said, one of many facts. So here we are. I think they filmed this. They wanted this to be set in Indiana, an old town that the author had grown up in. It couldn't be exactly the one he had, so they had created one for the movie. And I'm trying to see which the name of it they had called it. So, but they had used Cleveland for the real production and shooting of the movie. So all the exterior shots, they have scouted over 21 cities, and it came down to Cleveland for the exterior filming because of Higsby's, the department store that makes, a couple different appearances throughout the movie. A lot of big cameos from this one store. And I guess this is referenced in the book itself, so it's kind of exclusive to the Northeast where the author grew up. So he was really pushing to have, the department store aspect within the movie. And some pretty awesome setups here. The people are checking out the tourists. I mean, of course, they're trying to set this in 1940s, so this is the great display now, let alone back in the 1940s. Oh man, I think I see Raggedy Ann, an old lady on a rocking chair. I'm not sure if kids are into that, but definitely the fighter plane, Snow White. Was that time period correct? I'm not sure if Snow White was out at that point in time. But some good old radio flyers. I definitely rocked out radio flyers. They last a long time. I think they just said that so your parents only had to buy one. So if you tried to get a second, it wasn't happening. But the director, Bob Clark, he had, like I said, directed Porky's, and the success of that gave him the ability to make what he wanted to make. So he, of course, wanted to move on to Christmas Story, where he was able to cast Melinda Dillon as the Mother Parker, which we'll see here soon, and Darren McGavin as Old Man Parker, which it's one of those mysteries. Do you find out if it's do you ever find out his name? I don't know. And here we got Ralphie. Ralphie's already got his eye on that Red Ryder. I mean, we all had that gun. We all had that toy that we wanted to, we ultimately just had dreams about, daydreams, writing about it, drawing about it, telling our friends about it, seeing our friends probably own it, until you tell your parents, like, I gotta have this of Santa, quote unquote, please make this work. And it's either a life-altering disappointment or a life-altering excitement. You never know. Of course, we over dramatize it, but we're kids. So they had about 8,000 actors audition for the role of Ralphie. Even Will Wheaton auditioned for the role of Ralphie. It just kind of ultimately came down. He was one of the first ones that came in. But I guess he had some earlier success with commercials and co-hosting a TV series, Real People. So they kind of wanted to see if they can get anybody else to see who can play up to his talents, but it was just too obvious after it had gone through 8,000. I don't know if you get 8,000 actors. That's a lot. That's crazy. And so here we go, Old Man Parker. They say, I think his name's Hal, but I'm not sure. We'll have to see if you know, let me know. But Jack Nicholson was actually in talks to play Hal, or Old Man Parker. But the studio was unable to. They didn't want to pay his salary. Jack Nicholson was making his way at that point, and they probably think they wanted just a guy to play a little bit older. And Jack was still a young buck at that point in time. Is he still thinking about this Red Ryder? I think the toy that I always thought about was my Ghostbusters Proton Pack. That was one that I couldn't get out of my mind. I was always thinking about it. I did get it. I have the Ghostbusters the little ghost catcher that you push out, you kick out, and you stomp. You get to push the air through, and it opens up the doors. Yep. It's on my desk right here, right next to me. That's one of those prized possessions. Like I said, you gotta take home. Well, this is one of those classic breakfasts where mom makes all this food, and they're supposed to be on the lower income side. She's not wasting any food. That's a lot of toast uneaten on the table. Even though Ralphie and his brother still got to eat, I'm pretty sure they could be a little more frugal. You'll shoot your eye out. You'll only hear that a lot throughout this movie. So the movie was released 1983, November 18th. It had $3.3 million budget. It made $20.6 million, which was pretty decent. It was kind of initially overlooked as a sleeper film because it was released a week before Thanksgiving in 1983 and earned only about $2 million in the first week. But I guess the most negative reviews about it were talking about how people were tired of these holiday movies. It had been a trend so far up to this point, so they didn't think this one held up to some of the other ones that were coming out at the time. Even Roger Ebert suggested the film had modest success only because of the holiday themed films, just because they weren't popular as well. Praise on the nostalgia of the movie, though, and the Santa scene, which is the best visit to Santa I've ever seen. So at least Ebert has some good things to say about it. All right, so we got one of many daydreams from Ralphie. This time he's, of course, good old Red Ryder. Now, the Red Ryder BB gun was available at the beginning of 1938, and it remains available today, but the exact configuration that Ralphie just kind of rattled off there, from what the author had remembered, wasn't correct. It was two different guns. The Daisy Buck Jones gun did have a compass and a sundial in the stock, but these features were not included in the Red Ryder gun. So the compass and sundial were placed on Ralphie's BB gun, but on the opposite side, because, the actor Ralphie, who played Ralphie, was left-handed. So, of course, like I said, the author, he just kind of misremembered all these two toys from his childhood and put them into one for the story. So when they went to go make the toys for the movie, the toy line was like, those are two different guns. He has the wrong information. So they just went ahead and just combined it all so they can send them that, so they can sell it the way that it is in the movie. And that's just how they got a little cocktail of some BB guns. So thanks to the author, I guess you can create your own BB gun that way. But I guess Red Ryder, who he was basing the gun off, or it was the gun was based off of, just a character from the comic books, in those radio episodes from 1930s and 40s. From like Roy Rogers and Gene Autry and the Lone Ranger. So people like that. So it was definitely, I would say, cowboys and Indians type of situation, fairly popular back in the day. And the furnace. I mean, as a kid, you kind of like, why do they keep focusing on this furnace? But for one, I think it is part of one of the storylines from, one of the many short stories. But as an adult, there's always something happening. You can never get through. It feels like you can never get through a day without something going on. And it could be the furnace. It could be your car. It could be your shower. I'm not trying to get specific, but going back to the gun, It was the Daisy Rifle Company who made the guns, and so they started producing Red Ryder guns for sale during the Christmas season. As soon as the Red Ryder gun has since become one of the best-selling rifle models, so they just keep selling that year after year. And of course, because of the 24/7 marathons that we'll talk about too. So a lot of us feel like this whenever our moms are getting us ready, or like when you're going out to Halloween and you had to cover up your awesome Halloween costume with a huge starter jacket. Like, no one's gonna see that I'm Superman, but mom just looking out. Ralphie's got like nothing, but the mom wrapped the brother up like a little mummy. It's got to be a safety hazard to not be able to put your arms down. But I guess a lot of studios weren't interested in this movie, in a post-Depression era story about a little boy wanting a BB gun for Christmas. So it was one of those they didn't think it was going to be. They didn't think it was going to be a hit. Even after the fact, didn't seem like it was going to be a hit. But it wasn't until, the 24/7 marathons and this is a constant showing throughout Christmas. It was one of those that just kind of it kept it in the zeitgeist. But that neighborhood, the real neighborhood in Cleveland, Ohio, you can find it on Google Maps. It's 3159 West 11th Street in Cleveland, Ohio. So this house is still standing, still going strong today. In 2005, the shot or the movie, the exteriors that it was used for in the movie was put up for auction, and on eBay, the seller got it for $150,000. So the seller Jones spent the next following year restoring the home to what it looked like on the screen. And so the exterior was completely restored and the interior renovated. It's become a museum, a tourist attraction. So that opened up in 2006. So they spent over or close to $500,000 to restore that house. But yeah, you could go there today and you go do a little mini tour of Ralphie's house. They even bought the house next door and converted that into a gift shop. So the teacher here, Teddy Moore, she was 8 months pregnant at the time of filming this movie. She's playing Miss Shields. But since they're depicting, 1940s era teacher and mother, unmarried mother, she couldn't be pregnant. Basically, is how they looked at it. That's just the way they filmed it. That's the way the perspective was back in the day. So they had to pat her up to make it to kind of hide her belly there. So, yeah, 8 months pregnant while shooting this movie. I just posted an Instagram post of the behind the scenes of them shooting that exact shot of her pouring all the toys that every teacher had back in the day. Is that drawer full of all the confiscated toys that you think you're going to get back in the year, but nah, it doesn't happen. We got the classic playground dare game, double dare, a double dog dare ya from Flick. So this is Ralphie and his buddy Flick, played by Scott Schwartz. He was from The Toy with the Why can't I think of his name? He's in the toy, and then he's also in some porn later on in his life. So he's had a little bit of up and down in regards to the work he's done. Yeah, he was in the toy with Richard Pryor, which is an odd movie. Actually, it's a weird, crazy weird movie. Definitely a movie of its time, but you should check it out. The famous, now we got the famous pole licking scene, which it happens. I wonder how many kids in the world since then has this particular scene gotten tongue stuck on poles. What it's responsible for? Because I've done it. I've seen friends do it. That one, the Dumb and Dumber. Those are solid. And then everybody's just bailing. Well, man, school, you're kind of a dick, so we're out of here. Yanking it off is no good. You get a little bit of warm water. Maybe blow some snot on there. Nah, that's gross. So like I talked about earlier, this movie is shown every year. And it's become, of course, a Christmas special. The rights were acquired by Turner Entertainment back in 1986. And that's, of course, that's when it started showing consistently on TV. But since 1997, you can see the 24 hours of Christmas Story aired annually on TNT or TBS. So you're probably either maybe watching it this way, maybe without commercials, or, just listening along. But I feel like that's either you watch it that way or you own like the old DVD of it. I don't know too many people who have the Blu-ray super extra extended edition with extra commentary of A Christmas Story. I'm sure they're out there. I'm just saying I don't know too many. But in 2012, the movie was added to the National Film Registry at the United States Library of Congress. So it's preserved, people. You think now after they would yank his tongue off the pole, the kid's gonna go to the hospital, go to the nurse? No, this is 1940s. Get your ass back to class. You got some learning to do. The girl in front, she's got the bowl cut. She can't wait to laugh at him at recess. Well, I mean, the teacher can't blame all these kids. Yes, they left him, but because the bell rang. The kid obviously made his choice. He made his bed, he slept in it, and he froze in it. So if you listen to Ralphie, I think he's probably already said at least once or twice, maybe even 4 times, but 28 times throughout this movie, he's going to mention that damn BB gun. So if you're keeping count, we're probably at 3 or 4. If you're taking shots, we're probably at 7. It's such a softball essay, what I want for Christmas. So like I can't... there's no way you can mess this up, but somehow he finds a way. But it's all in her perspective. It shouldn't be, if it's poorly written, it should be judging on grammar and maybe content. I don't know. I'm not a second grade teacher. So the music for this for the bully here, it's Peter and the Wolf, which this kid definitely looks like a wolf, or like Roger Klotz. Oh, it's Roger Klotz. There he is. I mean, he's easily like 16 years old. He should be driving, if not in jail. Yeah, that kid is evil looking. Farkas. The name Farkas is derived from the Hungarian word for wolf. So Peter and the Wolf, Farkas, just goes hand in hand. I like this little sidekick buddy with the hat. This kid definitely killed people when he got older. Oh, Randy knew what to do. Just play dead until the whole thing just flies over and get on out. Yep. Randy's still down. He's like, all right, it's time to go. He's engaged. I mean, Farkas is probably 14 or 15. His little sidekick's probably 12 or 13. These kids are like, what, 8, 9 years old? They should have just beat him up. What's this all this scaring? Ooh, that was a good one. That was the one you catch, like, that punch is what right when you punch a sibling, like right in between the shoulder and the shoulder blade and the arm, like right in that middle part. You know where it hurts the most, because if you hit flat on the arm, yeah, it's more like a warning shot. But if you get like right in between the shoulder blade and yeah, that's when you're trying to send a message. Oh, there we go. Number 5. When homework was fun and it was easy as opposed to depressing, and realize how much you procrastinate. God, I'm glad to be done with college. All right, well, Dad's home. He's won something here. And these dogs, this whole dog situation, I don't know where the hell they came from, even as a kid, but this is another bit that came from the written stories. The dogs are constantly badgering the old man, so he's always running them off from like the basement or from his porch or something. So it's just a running gag in the written stories, but he's excited. He's got his prize coming. Could be a bowling alley. You never know. He's so happy. He even gave him his leg to chew on for a minute. Oh, they even got the poor pupper's ear right there. Bowling alley for sure. Where would he put that? Where would he even expect to even try to put a bowling alley in that house? I mean, I'm still trying to convince my wife that we need a 75-inch TV, so I have no room to talk. So they ate meatloaf, red cabbage, and mashed potatoes every night. Could you do that? I used to eat meatloaf. I used to have to eat meatloaf with like a bunch of ketchup, though. If I ate meatloaf, oh, give me that Heinz. But red cabbage, I could do it every once in a while, but I couldn't do it every night. Mashed potatoes, oh, I could do it every night, but oh man, I'd be packing on the pounds, so I don't know. Might just have to cut the meatloaf. I don't know. That'd just be tough. I'd be like, Ma, you know what? Thanks. I'm just gonna chop on a tiny bit of red cabbage, a slice of this meatloaf, and maybe a little stack, a little bit of some Randy stack of taters over here. I forget what the old man does. What his job. He wears a suit. They have a nice house. They're just, I guess they're lower middle class or middle class in 1940s. There you go. If you got to get a kid to eat, you got to play games with them. Dad's just like, oh, shove it down your mouth. And mom's just like, oh, let me see the piggy. Which one works the best? Now look at you just chomping now. Sometimes I still just want to do that with my food in the middle of dinner. Just smash my face into the plate. I think I might do that tonight. Uh-oh. Something's at the door. The major award has arrived. Well, judging from the size of it, it can't be the bowling alley. The delivery guy clearly does not give a shit. He's just like, I just want to smoke my cigar. Coming up here is my senior quote in the yearbook. Seriously, I used it. Here we go. That was it. Fragile must be Italian. Some people have inspirational quotes. I use quotes from A Christmas Story randomly when filling out the form. I don't know why I chose that, to be quite honest. Looking back at that, why did I choose that? It was just hilarious at the time, and it still is to this day. This is my friends and I were sitting around each other filling out this little yearbook form where we write down your quote. Of course, we have girls and other guys around us writing their quotes, long quotes, inspirational stuff. We're just like, let's just put some random movie quote. Who can put the most random movie quote? So I think I won. All right, here we go. The famous leg that I'm sure some of you listening probably have hanging on your Christmas tree right now. Own it to some degree. Poster, something. This is like one of the more iconic things to come out of any Christmas type movie is just a standalone woman's leg in lingerie with the lampshade. You could tell the mom just like, what is this? He loves it. The old man can't get enough. I mean, even if to get any random prize to be selected, you got to be happy. And then to get a prize on top of it. So you know what he wants to do? Front and center, baby. Let's put that right in the front window. It's like when Michael Scott brought out his neon light when him and Jan had that awkward dinner. Oh, 1940s electricity. Still working. Get that fuse. It's like Clark Griswold down there with that. Look at that. Damn, that's a lot of plugins. Making it work. Yeah, so the leg, it was the illuminated knee-high logo was based on a real lamp So you could get it even back in the day, and then after this movie came out, it became even more popular. I'm not sure. I'm positive you could probably buy a full size lamp replica of it, but I see mostly ornaments. I see just kind of small figures of it. I haven't seen a full scale. So if it's out there, it's out there. But I don't know if I can convince my wife to put that out. Maybe in the car. Yep. As with all dads, let me check the view outside. Let me see when my buddies drive by if it looks good. And she's already plotting. Oh, here we go. It's the major award. Look at it, everyone. We got cars stopping. We got neighbors stopping. It's exactly what he wanted. With any man, once you get a little bit of that attention for something cool that we have, oh yeah, we want more. We can't wait to tell you more about it. Mom, she can't be more embarrassed though. Mama's plotting. So she's like, oh, how about you kids go to bed? Mom's got things to do. Electric sex gleaming in the window. Great line. You got the kids listening to waiting for the radio episodes before TV or before they had the cable. You listen to people act it out on the radio. Oh, Mom, unplugging it. Yeah, Dad knows what's up. Man, I never got chased by bullies to school, but that would suck to have to, reroute yourself almost every day or be on the look, constantly looking over your shoulder. Oh, here we go. Another daydream. Fantasy scene. She loves it. Loves it. Loves his paper. But this, there's a few of these fantasy scenes, but there's more than a few that were cut. One of them was involving him and Flash Gordon, and being the Merciless didn't make the final cut, because of they just couldn't. They had too many. They already had like at least 5 or 6 of them, but they are included in the end credits. Oh, another. I mean, she said it, but it was still mentioned, so we'll count it as 6. So Ralphie, the actor, the actor who played Ralphie, I think it was Peter Billingsley. He had transitioned in Hollywood to do, production, producing movies for himself. So he had a good run in his own right. He had it was like The Breakup back in 2006, 4 Christmases 2008. So back to back Vince Vaughn, and then Iron Man 2008 as well, which is pretty solid. So, and he's part of the Christmas Story, the musical, for the stage. So yeah, he's still definitely well involved in Hollywood. The sprint home. You gotta maybe devise a plan. I mean, they do eventually, and I wonder how long this has been going on with the kid chasing him, Farkas chasing him. But you think they would have come up with a plan by now, or a different route. You're gonna head off to the parade tonight. My mom's gonna make sure that nobody sees his damn lamp. Battle of the Lamp. Ooh, solid excuse. Don't want to waste electricity. That's totally a mom or dad excuse, or a passive aggressive. Yeah. We've had a fake tree for the last couple years. We had a real tree, and then all of a sudden we're starting to hear horror stories of trees that would have giant spiders in them, and or a snake might be hibernating in one of them. So I was like, you know what? We're done with real trees. Let's get a really nice fake tree and use that year after year. So do you use a real tree or a fake tree? The needles that just fell off on the previous tree. Yeah, and cleaning up all those needles every time you're trying to drag it down the hallway or drag it outside. It's too much. And then the water. I got a cat, and she'll probably try to drink that damn water. She does. First time we had a real tree, she was drinking the water. And I think with the real trees, cats are a little more attracted to it because it was all that real scent climbing up the middle of that damn thing. So it's just for the best. Fake tree. I'm team fake tree. Uh-oh, now we got the flat tire. As a kid, at Christmas time, like the holidays, you just kind of want to do anything you can to keep dad in a good mood. But anytime dad was in a bad mood, it was no good. And to keep him that way, you shouldn't help him with anything. And I would do it. I would help my dad with stuff and try to be all joyful. I'm like, I'm helping my dad. We're doing fun. We're having a great time. And then I would mess it up some way, somehow. Just like Ralphie's about to. This is pretty much like me in a nutshell with my dad as a kid. You're like, oh yeah, having a great time. You go help your dad. Yeah, okay, cool. Father-son bonding time. Let's do this. So you get out there. You don't know anything about tools. You're just like taking instruction. So like, okay, let's rock this out, Dad. But again, gotta find a way to mess it up. It's only natural. I think I would normally do it by like dropping something or not giving them the right thing, or I think it was more just dropping or breaking something that's already more broken. Here we go. Oh fudge. Which is not what he said. The Queen Mother. What was that? Yeah, that's not what you want to hear from an adult as a kid. That sinking feeling. You done wrong. Not only did you piss him off, mom's gonna find out. Then you're gonna get punished when you get home. It's just like it's a double whammy. It's triple whammy. And you're gonna pay for it afterwards. They're gonna try to be like, you have less Christmas presents, or you have to do something nice for somebody else. I don't know, which isn't that bad. Oh no, here it comes. Sitting in the back just waiting. Here it comes. It's like waiting your sentence at a at a trial. I think they found out that having soap in your mouth is definitely not something healthy for children. Or maybe it was a former child who came up with that. I mean, that is it's like the hot sauce punishment. If you recognize this actress, Melinda Dillon, she was in the Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And that was part of the reason she was cast. Oh man, some innocent kids is about to get it. Throwing a buddy under the bus, and then hearing him get whipped over the phone due to your false accusation. What? Like Donald Duck on the other side of that phone. It's like, oh man. Someone needs to call child services on that particular parent. I mean, cussing as a kid, depending on who your parent was, it had different levels of anxiety if you were caught doing it. I remember one time, like summer camp, we came in town, do like get some ice cream and stuff like that. And I, with some friends, and I was kind of showing off, and I was cussing up a storm, from this, I forget what movie I had seen. I'd learned some cocktails from. And lo and behold, it's one of those. They all stop laughing after a few cuss words as they look up, and I turn around, and there's a camp counselor, and they go, "Oh, well, we're calling your parents, and I think you're done here." I'm like, "Oh God!" Like when you hear we're calling your parents, the worst. So yeah, that was tough. Hearing that as a kid, your parents would get to call. No, please don't call them. I'll do anything. I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. All the excuses. And so this is one of the few daydreams I could relate to the fact that whatever punishment your parents were putting you through, you would dream that whatever they did would have some sort of after effect, would have some sort of negative effect later on, and you could blame them for it. But if you hadn't done this to me, look what happened. Look what it did to me. Yeah, Ralphie ate too much soap. Now he's blind. Soap poisoning. See? We've all been there. This could happen to me if you keep punishing me this way. Just laying it on hard, Ralphie. Give it to him. Let him know. he likes it. Some more gifts for the teacher. Oh, it is Christmas. So Schwartz, going back, his character in the toy with Richard Pryor, he plays his dad owns this toy or just, I don't know, he's super wealthy, owns toy stores and department stores and stuff like that. And they buy Richard Pryor, who is a custodian. And it's basically kind of a weird angle on slavery because they buy him with cash on the spot, even though he is like willingly doing it, but he's definitely being bought and paid to almost live with this kid and entertain this kid that Schwartz is playing. It's like I said, it's got some cool parts to it. It's really weird. Some great 80s toys, but yeah, it's definitely a product of its time. Ralphie can't wait to get that A+ for that Red Ryder BB essay. He knows it's coming. He's like, it's coming my way. This is a guarantee. You might as well just frame this bad boy. I've been there too. And then I've been in the same spot where, oh, this is A+. Oh, C-? What? Ovaltine. I was more of a Nestle Quick guy. Or even Hershey's. So it was Hershey's, Ovaltine, or Nesquik. So, given on the type of kid you were, you had 3 choices. We would probably mostly get Hershey's. I could never do powder. God, powder was the worst. I could never. It just never always. It never fully went away. It was always some clumps in there. I had to go syrup. Syrup all the way. But I would go Hershey's. But I do like some Nesquik. Ovaltine, I'd say maybe. Bottom 3. Now we got the decoder. I don't remember using too many decoders. I know they had some for some games and some strategy games and some other stuff, but it wasn't really something I got into. But it does help solve the debate on when the film takes place, because evidence points that 1939 is the year that this movie specifically. It does take place in 1939 because Wizard of Oz is referenced. So it's it came out in 1939. The decoder ring points to is 1940, but it's just a few things that don't line up. I guess Bing Crosby's version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town, that plays in the movie, didn't come out to 1943. So it's just maybe a mixture of things from 1939 to 1943, possibly. Possible. But the Orphan Annie radio decoder pin that Ralphie receives is the 1940 Speedomatic. So I guess that's the one they concluded in 1940. That's the version that he's using there. If anyone cares. And I'd be just as pissed if I were him too. After all this, be sure to drink your Ovaltine. Son of a bitch. Crummy commercial? Yeah. You just lose all faith in humanity as a child. Yeah, take the bathroom. I'd kick him over while I was peeing too, rushing me. Red cabbage again. Oh, that furnace is not doing him any favors. So this little tidbit or this little rant that he just went on was written, was not improvised. Word for word. Uh-oh. She took the opportunity. She went with it. He heard it all the way downstairs. That's dad instinct right there. You know, when your prized possession. It's like Jedi dad instinct. You hear your prized possession being broken in the distance. Like, hold on, stop talking to me. Something just happened. I have to go. Oh yeah, he's on to her. Because I won. Uh-oh. Now he knows it was her. She did it on purpose. She used all the glue. That's like 9 levels of passive aggressiveness. So he'd probably have to use like tape or something like that. Yeah, good as new. Oh, not so much. That's when you just want to punch a hole through the wall. Maybe through the floor. Ah, man, that didn't even last a week. He had it like 2-3 days max. That mom had it out for the leg. For the major award, she had it out. Oh, man, that's when you punch him in the face. He's vulnerable. Punch him in the face. Bite his ear. Man, his little sidekick just like appears out of nowhere. Where the hell does this guy come from? I know he's tiny. He's not like a little leprechaun. Man, this kid's like a professional bully at like 8. I wonder why they always start making people call Scream Uncle to be free. Where did that come from? What did your uncle have to do with it? Would he come save you? Is it Uncle Benjen from Game of Thrones? Because he's always coming to save people last minute. Oh, C+. Crush City, man. So here's the Wizard of Oz reference. But C+, damn. Just because you'll shoot your eye out. Just because of that. You need to give me, just because of my idea is not that great doesn't mean maybe I didn't write a great articulate essay. That's rough. You feel betrayed. You know, normally you're probably not putting 100% in. You put 110% into something, and you still get the same outcome. So you just bottle up, you take it out on somebody else, like what most people do, and what Ralphie's about to do. Ooh, that was a solid Solid throw. It's definitely one of those throws you get pounced with. Like, you put a smile on maybe for whoever threw it, if it's a friend, which, man, death is in the air. Oh, Scott Farkas. You don't even know what's coming to you, my man. This is like the crazy cry. This is not the sad cry. This is the crazy cry before you just snap. And here we go. Solid. I mean, that's NFL takedown right there. Yep, just start wailing. Oh yeah, it's a solid one on that sidekick. Get out of here. I'm telling my dad. You go tell him. You tell him Ralphie sent you. Yep, keep wailing. Yep, just don't stop till you see blood. Keep going. Oh, now your friends show up. Keep going. Gotta have some stories to tell later in life. Little bro looking out, picking up the glasses. Like that too. But is this the when mom shows up out of nowhere? That's the part I'm a little confused about. But I mean, none of those kids are jumping in and stop this fight. This kid he still could be punching him right now to this day if mom hadn't stepped in, because none of those kids are stepping in. That's bottled up anger just released. He went from punches to the smothering to the choking. This is all premeditated. Those fights where mom's like, I can't be mad at you, I understand. Those are way better than ones where mom's like, Jesus, you're grounded. Little crocodile tears will get you through. So I guess if you haven't seen it, there's a behind-the-scenes documentary, Road Trip for Ralphie. Follows two mega fans of the movie on a two-year quest to locate and visit every location used in the movie. Along, they uncover Miss Shields' chalkboard from a dumpster, discover all the movie's costumes in a hidden Toronto warehouse, and track down the antique fire truck seen in the movie, and visit the forgotten location of the chop suey place at the end of the movie. Well, so like I said, Road Trip for Ralphie. If you're a Christmas Story fan, a little more in depth of the locations and cool stuff. Oh, Randy just showing signs of psychoness, hiding him underneath the sink. Daddy is not going to kill Ralphie. He's gonna kill me. Daddy's crazy. Don't you see this pattern? Kids shouldn't be this scared of their father. Oh, honey, it'll be okay. Daddy's just sort of crazy. Yeah, hearing the car come up when you know you know you're going to be in some deep shit with mom or dad or both. Man, just those anxieties as a kid. Like, yes, they don't mean that much now, but as a kid, they mean everything. Like, they're going to be so upset with me. I don't know what the punishment's going to be. How long will it be? What are they going to say? Dad's on it. Where's your glasses? Mom, just doing him a solid. Get some more taters, cabbage, and meatloaf. Yeah, I mean, mom and dad's gotta do that sometimes. You know, they gotta cover. You gotta be the good guy. Understand certain situations are punishable, certain aren't. Here we go, another BB gun mention. I mean, I've probably missed a few, but let's just take the IMDb for granted. 28. Pour some more shots. All right, here we go. We're back to Higbee's, the department store. So they had to shoot this at night because there's a lot of monuments and buildings in the background that would make it obvious that they're not in the town that they say they are. So that's why they had to film the parade at night. Here's our references to Wizard of Oz. We got Mickey Mouse. Those weird, scary monkeys, flying monkeys. Get away from Mickey. Oh yeah, getting impatient. Let's do this. There's going to be a line. We're going to be waiting. There's no need to put this off. Parades are overrated anyway. I mean, to sit there and watch a parade for an hour, 2 hours, it's too much. Parades should be faster paced, and it should be like 20 minutes. So it should be like a quick, like, maybe, like right now they're probably going like a good 8-10 miles per hour. Let's crank it to like 20-25 miles per hour. Just shoot right through. Let's get everybody. Just got to make those floats a little more sturdier. That's all. And so we got one of the more famous scenes from this movie, the visit to Santa, which I'm not sure what's a good cutoff year as a kid when you stop seeing Santa. I think I was like maybe third grade, fourth grade when we were done going to see Santa physically to asking for presents, and we would just kept the charade up that in my mind he was still there, so we'd ask Santa, quote unquote, for presents. But it was like fifth grade, I think, fifth grade, yeah, which is probably a little late for some people. But that's when I found out that Santa was not real. Caught my good old mom bringing in my bike from the garage. That was from Santa. I woke up to go to the bathroom. I heard some noises at the door. I was like, Santa. And I run over and I see my mom. Apparently my dad was supposed to be bringing in the bike, but he had a few too many the night before. So he was a little hungover, so he couldn't quite make the transition. So my mom was struggling a little bit to get the bike, but I hid and I saw her bringing it in. I went back to bed and I played it cool, but I was like, oh man, now I know. Even though I had heard rumors in school and people were trying to mess with me, it was confirmed at that point. God, I feel like the Wizard of Oz is sponsoring this movie. I think we've seen them like at least 4 or 5 times referenced in this movie. That kid, I like the Wizard of Oz. He's like the I like Tortoise kid. It's like the 1940s version. Oh, this Santa knows what's up. I'll be happy for the kids, but not after 9. Let's do this. Get him up here. Randy. What a great name. Get him up. And this slide. That's like, I think that'd be better than talking to Santa. I'm like, there should be a separate line for the slide itself. Oh no. Like, woman, get out of our way. Yep, get him out. Screaming. That's a quick down the slide. This elf is already pissed. But I guess it's 9 o'clock. Time. Let's get this shift over with. And they've probably been doing this for 8 hours, lifting kids on top of Santa. Yeah, I'm sorry. I take that back. I would be pissed too. All right, Ralphie. Now's your chance. Get up there. Tell Santa what you've been looking for. We've been telling everybody. We've been writing about it and dreaming about it. Now you gotta tell the man himself. I've seen pictures too of my wife and myself. I don't think I ever cried in Santa's face, but my wife did. I've seen a lot of kids recently still do it. Were you one of those who cried when you were put on Santa's lap? Did Santa scare you? He didn't scare me. I think it was the when you're screaming ho 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 in a kid's face, or you're just thrown into a stranger's lap, that you really don't understand the concept of this whole Santa Claus thing maybe yet. Yeah, you're gonna cry. He's blanking. No, you gotta tell him. You can't. It's not a football. Yeah, there you go. Get those breaks. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Best part, foot in face. That he must have had that like lined up before the store opened. He's like, okay, I want my chair to be enough over by the slide so I can kick kids down it. Yes, that's what I want. No, nobody came down, slid on top of him. That was pretty convenient. Oh, Pop's playing it up. He knows. Especially when, mom or dad knows they got you something good. It's hard to contain. I mean, hell, it's hard for me to contain when I got my wife. I almost gave it away today. I was being too nonchalant with it. Man, no wonder trees would go up and houses go up. Look at all this flammable stuff that, I mean, yeah, we still put some flammable stuff on there, but man, this stuff is like tinder. Just waiting with lights on there, just waiting to burst. The fuses. He knew what's up. That was the go-to for any house back in the day. If anything broke, houses, if the window broke, change the fuse. Somehow that changed the window. I don't know. There you go. Crooked, but it's up there. It's important to have the star at the top. It's important to put one of your loved ones in danger of standing over probably not so great ladder or stepping stool of some sort, leaning over a 6 to 8 foot tree in the middle of your living room. But hey, it's worth it. Oh, you think they would wait longer? Probably, they'd probably have a drink, chill out, let the kids like pass out. Then you lay the gifts out before they start sneaking out. Christmas morning. Not too many things better as a kid than Christmas morning. Like, what a wonderful day out for me to stay inside and play with my toys. Christmas Day always had just that different feeling to it. No matter what. Like Randy, if I were Randy, I'd like, shut that damn window. I'm trying to sleep. Ralphie and Randy. Sweet. Oh yeah, he's mildly excited. You gotta look for the size of toy that you're wanting to see if it might be there before you get too excited or disappointed. Ralphie's on a mission. He's got to find that Red Ryder. Is it here? But it's not there. Dad knows what's up. Dad knows he'd be looking. Merry Christmas. You start sizing up your presents. You start lining them up. What's the smallest to biggest? Which ones you think you might have already figured out what it is? Ones you're like, I have no idea. Ones that you know are already closed. You shake. You've already shaken. Mom's told you not to, but you already have. You know which ones are closed. Which ones are the toys. Which ones have multiple pieces to them. We could always tell what a closed box was. It was those damn cardboard boxes from Sears or JCPenney that you could fold in. You knew there was like some socks or a t-shirt or a sweater for school. Just like that, yeah, get some socks, toss them to the side. But now, if I get socks, I specifically ask for socks this year. And for the last few years. Underwear, socks, give it to me. On top of everything else. But, it changes. But yeah, I just remember sorting them out, kind of already having a game plan, already kind of knowing what a couple of them were, There's always maybe a few surprises, not sure. But that was one of the best parts about it. Now, this is one of the surprises that you kind of have to play nice because, you know, it's mom and you are getting a lot of cool presents that day, so you gotta play the game. You don't want to ruin it. You don't want to ruin the mood. Just play the game. Go put on the outfit, and then continue to play with your toys afterward. But Christmas morning, yeah, that was always the the first half hour to hour was the exhilarating, you know, get your presents opened up, take in what the ones you got. Did you get the ones you asked for? Did you get some crazy off the wall ones that you weren't suspecting but are still cool? Did mom and dad like the presents you got them? Things like that. And then you start playing. You start fiddling around with the new ones that you got. And then before too long, like an hour and a half's gone by, you're like, okay, the excitement's got me a little tired. I think it's time for a mid-morning nap. You chill out for a minute, and then you get back to it for the rest of the day. Just like when I got the Super Nintendo, oh man, I played that all day. It came with Super Mario World, and I remember in F-Zero. That was the version that I got. And I just remember hooking it up immediately, and just so happy to have it. I was so happy my parents got it for me. It was great. Now, the bunny suit, I think she's getting ready for Easter. I mean, Easter's just around the corner. But like I said, gotta play the game. Do what mom says. He looks like a deranged Easter bunny. Yes, that is correct. Yes. Yeah, Dad stepping in. Yeah, the Frankenstein. We got Monopoly, Frankenstein mask, a blimp, a Raggedy Ann, a sailboat, a fire truck. Looks like a pinball, like not a wooden pinball machine. Some solid gifts for the 40s for sure. Dad's doing it right. And mom's sipping on some Chianti. For whatever reason, I used to think they were like dirt poor back. I mean, they're not like rich, but they're not like dirt poor. They're doing all right. Oh, Dad sees something else over there. That's when you're you can't let on that you're disappointed. But if you haven't ruined it by this time, this is what makes it worth it. Yeah, Dad's just like, I can't wait to see his face. True father-son moment here. Yeah, you see the box, you know it. I mean, I'm smiling in now just looking at it, because knowing that feeling when you get exactly what you wanted, seeing the box it came in, pulling it out, holding it, looking at it, knowing that it's yours. Like, those are feelings that bring a smile to a kid's face. You're like, I've seen this on TV, I've seen it in magazines, I've seen it everywhere, and now it's in my possession. I think sometimes I was more excited to see the box, because I had looked at that box 1,000 times at the store or online or in a Sears catalog or something. So like, I for some reason seeing the boxes that a lot of these toys or things came in made me just as if not more excited, just because I'd looked at it so many times before I owned it, and to have that in my possession, to know that it was mine, was just always exhilarating for sure. Oh yeah, Dad's in a good mood. So he's got the kids are happy, Mom's happy. He's about to get that Christmas turkey. Ooh, that thing! Look, give me that turkey leg. Oh yeah. And now I get to go outside and play with your new toy. I'm not gonna lie. Depending on the toy, it was short-lived in regards to the excitement and the exhilaration. It was always the initial opening of the box and getting it and like realizing everything and then playing initially. But of course, with everything, it fades. Some quicker than others. But here we go, Ralphie. What everybody been telling you, it happened. Shoot your eye out. It hasn't happened to me personally, but I'm definitely sure some of you listening out there, it's happened where it backfired on you. Something backfired to where you wanted a toy, you wanted something, you wanted to do something crazy, something somebody was maybe trying to talk you out of, but you went ahead and did it anyway, and it backfired in your face, literally. And so you're eating crow, and you're like, I don't know if I should tell them exactly what happened. Maybe fabricate something. Because they did warn me on multiple occasions. For me, I definitely would have fabricated the story. I would have been like, oh God, I would have done what Ralphie did. Definitely as a kid, especially with glasses, because glasses, those are expensive. I mean, as a kid, glasses were like a house mortgage. Like if you broke your glasses, your parents would like almost weep in front of you for how much they had to pay to replace them. So like you knew it was a big deal on some things. Yeah, he played it off perfectly. Wake up, Randy. Yeah, Randy's in my state mid-morning. You just take a snooze. I woke up like 3 hours earlier than I normally do. I was really excited. It's like a natural sugar rush for kids. For about 2-3 hours, they got this full on like crazy excitement going, and then they crash. I love that part. Just checking to make sure she's still upstairs. Yeah, that feeling when you know you've gotten sly. You got one past good old mom. Mom knows everything. Well, sometimes she doesn't. And if you can get away with it, those little white lies, if you can get away with it. Oh man, I just realized they had those little covers over the chair, armchair. Oh man, grandmas and aunts and older people used to always have those covers. So that's just to keep it cleaner, or is that just like a decoration? I'm not sure. Oh god, now the dogs are in. Old man Parker's not having it. The turkey's done for. Oh, they ripped it up. Yep, that's when the dog's getting, maybe tossed over a fence. Maybe hugged a little too hard. Maybe eating peppers. Who knows? Makes him regret just eating those tiny pieces. That's when you just gnaw off the whole side of it. No turkey sandwiches, no turkey leg, no turkey soup. Yep. Dad's got a solution. We are going out to eat. And so here's the Chop Suey Palace. It's got a bowling sign right next to it for some reason, but this is one of the places that they came to go see for the documentary. Fa ra 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 ra. So when they filmed the scene here, Melinda Dillon, who's she was purposely given the wrong script for this whole scene, and it'll come into play here. Still can't get it right, but still slightly racist, but it's funny. But like I said, she was given the wrong script here, and everyone was in on it. She had no idea that the duck that they're getting ready to serve would still have his head on it. So the reaction that you're about to see from her is a genuine reaction. So she had no idea. And that's what the good old director Bob Clark was going for. And it turns out, well, it's a good genuine reaction for the end of the movie. Oh, no. Especially when they cut off the head. And that was the more memorable one. Like, you know, even the traditional ones are great, but sometimes when things go wrong and you got to improvise, those are the more memorable Christmases. And that's kind of, you know, a good message to take away from this movie and from that whole experience, because it is true. There's a lot of times it's the spontaneousness of things that make it more memorable than the whole following the traditions and doing everything by the book, that type of thing. What a great scene to end. Enjoying some more Chianti, snow, next to the Christmas tree. Old man Parker's got it good, man. He's got it good. Sleeping with your toys, enjoying the fact that you not only got to go get all these awesome toys, but you're probably on school break, so you have the next week, 2 weeks at least, to enjoy this with your friends and their cool toys. So, I mean, as a kid, Christmas time just didn't get any better. It really didn't. There's so many things that was tailor-made to make Christmas time the best thing for any child. So, I mean, even as adults, we're still striving to have those experiences, and we do. Sometimes they may not live up to the expectations. Sometimes we have new experiences that make those experiences just as memorable. So that was Christmas Story. I again, it's been a while since I watched it all the way through. Another classic that I'm glad we got into. And I'm sure, of course, you're going to see this running at some point over the next few days on TNT or TBS for the 24 hours of A Christmas Story. So you can check in at any point in time. I think the podcast still works with commercials. I'm not sure. We can try it. Who knows? But I hope everyone at this point is enjoying Christmas, is on your break. Like I said earlier, enjoying it with your friends or family or loved ones or anything like that. Even pets. We always have Stella here, our lifetime guest. She's always she's our love child. So she's gonna be a spoiled kitty this year. But I'm hoping everybody enjoys their Christmas, enjoys their holidays. Be safe out there, have fun. We're gonna have a year in review episode next week, so we're gonna have more of just like I had last year. I had done a where I'm gonna have all the interviews for all the celebrity interviews we had done over the year, kind of all mashed into one episode. We'll talk about some of the cool good reviews that we got throughout the year, just all the cool stuff that happened for the podcast, and some upcoming plans, things that we're looking to change or update for the podcast for the new year, for our third year. It's crazy to say it's about to be our third year in the podcast, so we're gonna have some cool stuff coming up this next year. We're trying to switch a few things up, just trying to freshen things up. So we're coming up some ideas over the next few days. I actually I have like 11 days off of work, so I'm excited to just kick back and come up with all kinds of crazy cool ideas over the next year for the podcast. So I'm excited. I really appreciate you, all of you who have been tuning in consistently over this last year or two. Thank you so much. So like I said, stay tuned. Next week we're gonna have a year in review episode, and then we're gonna kick off the third year with some awesome guests, because we definitely have some few guests coming up that I can't wait to announce here pretty soon. So thanks everyone for tuning into this episode of the Be Kind and Rewind podcast. Make sure you tune in every Throwback Thursdays for new episodes of the podcast. Subscribe, like, and rate the podcast on all podcast apps, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart Radio, YouTube, and Infirmary Media Podcasts. And also follow the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Be Kind Rewind Pod for all of your nostalgic needs. So be excellent to each other, and Merry Christmas.
You're listening to
Infirmary Media. Did you hear that?
Infirmary Media.
Infirmary. Is anybody there?
Docking complete.